completely and utterly dead. So yeah, so it's been a little bit of a mission. Yeah, you wish me luck, that's all I can say. I've had a bit of a nightmare. It's been massively frustrating, but I've got a problem with showers. I need the power back on, I need the power back on, need the power back on, need the power back on. You need to step up your game. Done. Right. Whew, it's non-stop today. This is something that you don't see that often in a domestic property, and that is morning guys, welcome to the channel. So this is something that you don't see that often in a domestic property, and that is we've got one board and two. So we've got two phases. I know you'll be thinking, oh yeah, it's quite often you get two boards in a house, Mike, come on. But no, this is actually running off two phases, because most houses only have a single phase supply, but this actually has a three-phase supply, and we're running two phases. So part of my job today is we're going to be changing this, upgrading this board and upgrading this board, and we're going to still be running off the two separate phases, which is what's been requested. So first things first, we're going to whip this one off. Because my tails all come in this way, we've got a little bit of messing about to do to try and, so I'm going to have to raise this one up slightly, and then the location of this one is a little bit undecided yet, whether we're going to be moving that over here. I'm not quite sure. It'd be nice to have them side by side, wouldn't it, in fairness? So what we're going to do, a bit of safe isolation and get this board off. Right, so at some stage it looks like this section, whatever this feeds, has all been rewired. So I'm presuming it's had like an extension, something like that on this property. So what we're going to do is we've got a mains isolating switch here. We're going to take these tails out, and that's completely isolated all of that side of things. You're going to need to be using your voltage indicators to make sure that we are completely and utterly dead. So as you can see right now, we have got voltage coming through, and now nothing actually coming through the bottom of the actual main switch. Then we're going to use a proven unit to make sure this is working, or like I say, a known source, which is what we've just done. One thing you need to make sure you're careful with this sort of job is that nothing's backfeeded or connected further down the line. But yeah, so it looks like, you know, we've got a fairly straightforward install on this one. So we'll label it all up. I've got what looks like, yeah, two electric showers on that phase. So what I'm probably going to do is one of these electric showers, I need to put it on the other phase, because two electric showers on one is not a good idea unless you put on like a Garrow unit, which is a priority board. So what that means is you'll prioritize one shower over the other one, so that again, which would be a separate unit again. So if you were in the master shower, someone, you know, jumped in, you know, so they got the master shower, someone's in the second shower, turns that on, then jumps into the master shower, somebody else in the house, turns that one on, it will kill the second one, or whichever way you want to set those up. But yeah, so really important not to do that. It's not a great idea. So we're going to have to extend that one through into the other board. So labeling up, just as standard as it sounds, you can just go, so what I tend to do is write on the actual board, so on the cover, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I just mark the cables in an appropriate way. So I'm going to rattle through that and get that board off. So just noticed this as well. So I was looking at isolating this off, but look, that is not secure. So that actually is a failure, because you've got your incoming service supplies, meters, not actually fixed. So I'm going to fix that back to the wall, because that's obviously, you know, fairly straightforward job, but a necessary job that needs to be done. So if you come across stuff like this, quite often you'll come across and the boards are all crumbled and all the rest of it, but that needs to be fixed back in place, which we will do immediately. So numbering up can just be as basic as that. Just run a bit of the old Sharpie across. Doesn't have to be any more complex. And then we're going to use the screw gun just to whip all that off. Tails are all off now, not connected anymore. Get it all out, get all the cables straightened out, and then start mounting our new board, getting that in place. Again, that board is not, oh Christ, look at that. That is not a securely installed board. Oh my God. I mean, it's done me a solid. That is pretty poor. Okay, so we've put on the new board. Now I've gone with a slightly different method of what I originally envisioned in my head. So I've got a standoff kit on the back of the board. So that brings everything forward slightly. And I've got some 100 by 50 trunking, bring all my cables through. Now this shower cable is going to need to be extended into this board because then that puts it across onto the 2 phases. So yes, we've got loads and loads and loads of room for growth. Now if we were just going to leave this one on here, that would be a non-compliance because it's not, I would say that's classed as bordering on inaccessible because you can't get a screwdriver flat in without real struggles because of this here. So this obviously is going to be moved anyway across there, so just a temporary basis right now. So yeah, so I wanted to put those on all in place, get it in, label it all up. This one here is for the alarm. So that comes through and goes up to just this top corner here, and the alarm panel is just out there. So I think I'm going to drop that into this one, I think, rather than in there, because I need to unpeel all of these afterwards. But and then that will give me, because it's going to be a little bit tight on the length, I think, for that one. But then it's going to bring everything back up. So yeah, so it's been a little bit of a mission. I've just got my meter tails in rough loose at the minute because what I'm going to do is going to get them all connected together, all fixed to the back to the wall. That was the other thing. Obviously with the board, the old board literally just fell off. So it's not great install in the slightest. So this way we'll get the 2 boards side by side, bring everything down, put a bit of trunking up here, say, and then we can bring everything through, drop it into the new board, and it will look a lot neater. And then we can start tidying all the other bits and bobs up. So yeah, so it's getting there. But yeah, I mean, I could have done with a smaller board. I could have quite easily done that, but obviously with everything that's going on, there might be more, well, there is going to be more stuff going on, but it's better to do this way, have plenty of space, and then the client's not being, you know, shortchanged. Okay, so we're now on to the second board, and this one's going to be a bit more of a challenge. So I'm going to bring you in a little bit closer so you can see what I mean. So this is your main earthing terminal, how that's been left. So half of these aren't actually connected anymore. So this is filling me a little bit full of dread. So I've numbered everything up. We've got some old mixture of old wiring and new wiring, newer wiring should we say. And I've just cut them all off at the bottom here. So I'm going to strip it down, take it all back, get it into here. But yeah, it's not the greatest of setups, so yeah, you wish me luck, that's all I can say. So needless to say, I've had a bit of a nightmare. It's been massively frustrating. So this job, so as you've seen there, as I was levering off the old board because I couldn't get it off, I've then pulled the fixing back off for all the mains. So that is all have to be refixed, which I've done since then. Then I've now discovered, well, I'll show you inside in a second, but I've had to push on massively because there's a lot of stuff that's been going on within the house to do with the family and all the rest of it. So I've needed to push on, and I can't explain anymore. Just that it's just been really, really busy, and I needed to get stuff sorted. But I've got a problem with showers, and showers being the key word. So I'm going to take you inside and go through everything that I've done so far and some of the issues that I've come against. And I've also had to come back here late last night. Oh. Like I said, we are way further on. So what we've had to do is extend some of these. So there's a lighting circuit and also a 16 amp radio, which is in that room. So in here, so this is the first board. So in this one, so this is the one that was pretty much in that location there, right? So I've actually got 3 electric showers in this installation. So this is run off the L2 phase, and it's got one ensuite shower now, which is fine. So that's on the 1 phase. Now, bearing in mind, I've got a 60 amp incoming supply across all 3. So obviously we've got 2 phases this is run on. So still waiting to sort the doorbell out. And we've gone through these, so that is fine. And then I thought, actually, yeah, I've only got another electric shower, not the 3 that we've discovered, which would be fine, because if I'm using this one on here, which is my L1, if I had the other electric shower, which is the other ensuite shower, I'd have been fine. But we've actually got a cheeky little sausage here, which is the main shower. So the main bathroom has also got an electric shower. So what am I to do? So that leaves me in a bit of a predicament. Okay, so options, right? So my options were to the customer is, do you need all 3? If you don't, because obviously it is a fairly substantial size house. If you don't need all 3, brilliant. We can spread the 2 across the 2 phases as what I originally thought, but no, we need all 3. Bruh. Not that all 3 will ever be in use. So then that's led me down to the Garrow unit, which is the priority board, which is what I've basically recommended that they need to be fitted. Now, they argue the case that they never all have a shower at the same time, and I completely get it, because they're limited on water pressure, and you know, why would they? But the problem is running 2 on the second DB, running those 2 electric showers runs you in high probability that main fuse is gone. So it's left me in a little bit of a bind. Now, what I am also confused about is obviously the customers are very, very much, I need the power back on, I need the power back on, need the power back on, need the power back on. And it's quite frustrating to work in these conditions, because you're trying to do your best, and it's like, okay, I get that, but I'm trying to make your house safe. So this is where it leads to. So ultimately, it's not my house. I don't own the house. The cables themselves on the showers test out fine. So all I can do is note it down on my certificate. I've recommended putting the Garrow unit on, which is what is also going to be on my certificate. What they do in their house is up to them. As long as my backside's covered, that's what I would recommend, and I would not recommend leaving those 2 showers in place. But they've also told me that when we do the main bathroom, we'll get rid of that. But that doesn't solve the issue today. And that's what my worry is. But hey, what else can you do? You're stuck, aren't you? You're stuck between a rock and a hard place. So that's what my recommendation is. It's up to them. They are debating whether to do it or not, which probably means they're not. And so there we are. So the other issues that we've got, right? So obviously, this is building a bigger picture. Now, the house has had multiple extensions and things like that done over the years. So I've got sockets here, there and everywhere. That's fine. So rather than me labelling up 1 left-hand socket, lounge room and upstairs bedroom, rear and all that, it's basically going to go sockets on here, which I don't really like doing, but I've got no real option because the labels aren't big enough to ever rattle down all of the information on there, which is one thing. But the bigger fish to fry is that we have very, very old wiring for the downstairs lights. And when I mean old, I mean old. No CPC. So, and I've got class 1 fittings. So again, what do you do? What do you do? I've told them you can't have any of these fittings on. They need to be sorted. And I'm hoping at the end of the day that they say, yes, we're going to rewire it, because that is really what, or The other options is we fit plastic class 2 fittings all the way through the house, which I don't think they're going to want to do. But hey, very, very, very frustrating. Very frustrating. But that's just part of the job, and that's one of the things why it's just took a little bit of time, and it's just been frustrating trying to sort bits out. And I wonder whether anyone else has these things where you get a lot of pressure on the customer. It doesn't happen that often with me, in fairness, but this one in particular, the attitude sort of changed a little bit, and I don't know why. And it's probably because I keep finding faults. But hey, here we are. So I thought I'd come out in here and have a little bit of a moan about it all. But for me, what I would recommend, which is what I'm going to recommend, rewire the lighting circuits on the original parts of the house. The upstairs has got CPC in it. It's had been rewired at some stage. There's just a couple of breaks in it somewhere along the line. So I haven't got a complete continuous path, but upstairs is fitted with class 2. The other thing is, well, on the light fittings in the bathrooms, in the newer part of the extension that's been done, we haven't got IP rated downlights in there. We've got straight non-fire rated, non-IP rated downlights, so that's going to go down like a lead balloon. They need to be changed, and amongst other things. So some of the stuff that we are sorting out today, I can continue with because they are on the newer side of the property. But yeah, so I thought I want to share this one with you. Bit frustrating really of which way to go. So still yet to wait for my Ring doorbell. I don't know where that's Ring doorbell, the doorbell transformer. Still waiting for that to turn up. I've had a nightmare with suppliers on this job, way worse, and I have put a big old complaint in because they're not normally this bad. But yeah, it's very, very frustrating. So anyway, van whinge done, back inside we go. So, quick rundown of the board. So we have got full RCBOs in place, and we've separated them now with a bit more spacing on this side, and that was all to do with the cable layout as it came in. Surge protection device is fitted. It's a type 2, and also what they've all the manufacturers have started doing now is that they've stopped putting an MCB in that feeds the fuse. MCB that feeds the SPD, get it right. They've all tended to start doing this now, so it gives you an extra spare way. So also a bit of labelling up is what I like to do is put the ZE on the board on here, so you know what it is, and your PFC at the date of test what it is, and then obviously the same on this side. What we've got, all the cables came in on that side, so we're all good to go. Surge protection devices, so as you can see here in the window, they are green. If they ever go to red, it means it's been activated and it needs to be changed. So here we've got our MET for our main earthing, flexible tails all clipped through, and then stainless steel zip ties all the way through to keep it nice and tight all the way. Right, you literally can't make this up. Honestly, I just can't. I can't be doing with it today. This is driving me mad, right? So once again, I'm having to go off back to the wholesalers because I've gone to the box to get some PIR sensors, and they haven't even put them in there. This is ridiculous. Like, this is, honestly, I've said to them, check the list that I've sent you. Check the list, it's all good. Yeah, everything's in there. Actually a little bit cocky to the point of going, yeah, what are you questioning me for? Never mind the fact that this is getting beyond a joke. So I've now got to go back because there's 2 PIR sensors here that are just basically smashed off the wall. That one at the front of the house and one off the garage. That they're smashed off, right? They're gone. That's part of the job to replace. And now I'm having to drive the far side of town through all the traffic to get them, on top of all the other issues. You need to step up your game on the old wholesalers, I tell you now, because this is wearing my patience pretty thin. So much so that if you're a wholesaler and you're watching this, then why don't you reach out to me? Because the only way for them to learn, because this is not the first time that I've complained about this particular person who's picking my parts, not doing their job properly, I would rather them spend 5 more minutes it's just going through. Let's be honest, it's not actually that hard of giving them a list to go, yeah, got that, got that, got that. And what I tend to find, what he does, is he gets on his phone and he's doing his list on his phone, like, and I know he's not getting it all right because he can't do. There's no way you can type that. I mean, I know these kids these days are pretty quick on the phones, but there's no way that he's going to be able to take all the detail that I'm giving to him on his phone in that space of time. So I reckon he does half of it and then goes, yeah, no, that's close enough. And yeah, it's all right, he's out the door, he's gone. So I might even go and have a word with the manager, because I'm not being funny, I spend a lot of money with the wholesalers every month, a lot of money. And this is also costing me money. So this has turned into a right whinge job. I'm going to be honest, a massive whinge job, which I wasn't intending it on being a whinge job. I thought, oh, you know, this would be quite a good little thing. And I'm still yet to tell the customer all about the issues that he's going to have with all the wiring and all the rest of it. And I've just said to him, it's all right, I've got to go off and get some parts. Power's all on for now. And he just doesn't seem that impressed. Now, bearing in mind, his house, not mine. And this again boils down to, you know, hey, it's your house, not mine. I can only give you the details of what is in front of me. And he said to me, I didn't understand why it would take you so long. I thought it was just a slap the boards on the wall kind of deal. No? Why would it be that? What's the point in that? I mean, I wish it was. Great. Slap it on. Energise. Hope for the best. Oh, right. I'll see you in about 3 hours by the time I get there and back. Brilliant. Okay, so parts collected. So doorbell transformer, PIRs collected amongst other bits, and full moon in place. So it has been duly noted, and apparently I'm not the only one. So and like I said, right, I don't dislike the lad. It's not that, it's nothing on him. He's not rude. He's not horrible. He's not, you know, he's not arrogant. He's not anything. You know what he's like when you go into some wholesalers. There's none of those. It's just purely that he's trying to rush, and using the phone is a problem. So I don't normally go in kicking off. In fairness, it's not really something I like to do. But it's not the first time I've complained about this situation. And usually it's just, you know, look, it needs to sort this out. It needs to sort the parts out because I'm getting bits wrong and I'm having to go here, there and everywhere to try and sort it all out. But this time it just lit the old fuse. So it will be addressed, and like I said, I don't want to be horrible, and it's nothing on a personal level, it's just costing me money, and that's something that I can't really have. I can't afford to lose money having to run around, because whichever way you look at it, it's an hour round trip. Whichever way you look at it, it's an hour's round trip to go to the wholesaler, grumble, and get your parts, and get back to that job. I haven't got time for that. I'm under the cosh as it is. So anyway, let's be a bit more positive. My certificate on this job is going to have one hell of a description on here, because there's, like I said, a few issues. So let's get back to the job and let's try and get this one over the line. Right, 2 ticks. I would also like to point out that most of the videos, if this is the first video that you have ever watched of me, this is not a normal. I don't normally grumble this much. And I'm also starting to put out, I believe, I'm going to start doing this a bit more regular, because I just put a video out on a Sunday morning, and it's done really well, really, really well. So it looks like you guys quite like a cheeky little Sunday video. So that might be coming up on a regular basis. So if you're new to the channel and you haven't yet subscribed, make sure you do, and you can join me to some wonderful days in the electrical world, where I show you all the ups and the downs, the pro tips of what we do on a daily, and yeah, enjoy the journey. Okay, so I just thought I'd run you through the fuse box bell transformer as it goes, because some people, like I say, have never seen them installed this way, or how you go about installing them. So I've got a 6 amp RCBO here feeding it. Yes, overkill. Before you start typing, It doesn't need to be a 6 amp RCBO, it could be just an MCB, which is fine, but I want a continuous, you know, that's the run, that's how I want it and all the rest of it. So what we come out here, we shortened up the buzz bar at the bottom because we're going to put this at the end. Now the reason why I put it at the end here rather than here, is if you put it here, it basically kills the rest of the board. So you can't use the rest of the board because of the buzz bar, you have to cut it short. So always fit it at the last possible junction. So you come out the bottom of here live in neutral, which then comes up into your RCBO here. And then this end here actually goes off to my bell box, which is just up there. Now on the top, you've got your 1, 2, 3, 4 positions, and they correspond to 1 equals an 8 volt. So 2 goes into an 8 volt. So your 1 is always powered up, so it's always in there. And then your 1 and 2 makes it an 8 volt. 1 and 3 makes it a 12 volt, which is what this is. And a 1 and 4 makes it a 24 volts, which is more common in like your Ring doorbells, that sort of thing, is more the 24 volts, but it's a neater solution rather than having everything else on show. Better job for it, but I just thought I'd quickly show you that. I'm going to jump outside and swap over this PIR outside. So this is the PIR in question. So this one is well and truly knackered. So it's not activating the lights, which is for the front on there. So we're going to change those two as well, put some larger bezels on, and then we're going to get this one off and swapped out. So first things first, need to make sure I've got no power to it. Okay, so let's go and knock that off. Okay, so all I've done is turn the actual switch off for now, so that will verify whether the switch is working for it, which it is. So we know the switch is working, so what I need to do now is go back to the board and lock this off permanently. And we're in, we're done. Get that off there, wipe a bit of the old dust off. But yeah, that's effectively it. So it's all in, a little bit better than the last one, let's just be honest. So yeah, so then we've got on the bottom of here, you've got all the settings of what you want. So we've got the lux, which is obviously to do with your how much, when it activated, whether it's in the daylight or night time, which is what it is at the minute, sensitivity, and also we've got how long it'll actually activate for. And this is the first one I've actually seen where it's actually got some indications on times. So lowest is 2 minutes, oh no, that's 2 seconds, and then up to 5 minutes. So I'm going to do sort of midpoint, and then sensitivity, we're going to knock that down a little bit. Yeah, so we should all be good. So I actually really like that. It's the first time I've ever seen that on there. Okay, now with that on, it is now activated the light is up, and those two monstrosities are also on. So another job done on there, except for I'm just going to change these down lights. I'm just waiting for the oversized bezels, and yeah, that's this one done. Right, whew, it's non-stop today. So effectively, this is what the down lights are, but I've got massive bezels to go on, but I've only got one here, so it's just a bit frustrating. So they're on the way out, they are coming, so hopefully you can get that all finished today. So yes, another PIR on the front of this garage. So same drill, the lights weren't working on the front. So what I've done is to diagnose it, I've gone up to the old sensor, which is now in my hand, and we've activated it, we've turned it on at the switch, which is just up there, and then I've made sure that I've got a power supply, permanent live, permanent neutral, coming to this, which we did have, which then really limits out that it's coming to here, but it's not being switched to activate to go out, which is pretty straightforward on the diag side of things. So I've quickly swapped that out, and we've now fitted the new sensor up there. So it's all done exactly the same as the front one. I've set it for slightly longer, and we've just activated it, and guess what? They all come on. So that is it. I have done for today. I've done my jobs that I needed to get sorted. So a little update on the bezel front. The wholesalers have brought out an additional bezel to try and see if that would work for the oversized bezel, but hey, it doesn't. So what it means is they've ordered stuff overnight, another bezel to come overnight, which is fine. And then that is it. I can't do any more. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video, or if nothing else, you've got some sort of sadistic kick on me being really stressed and aggro and annoyed and frustrated. And if that is the case, make sure you subscribe to the channel, join me on the next one, and I will see you tomorrow.